Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. Hi, weathered shed friends. Come on in, join me. I am going to be demoing the Iron Orchid Designs IOD gallery wall project number 4 of 22 projects. And I'm hoping you'll hop in and join me. Say hello. I'm gonna get you guys pulled up on my iPad and make sure that I can see everyone. So say hello as you come in. I realized that I did not take an actual snapshot of the project to have in here with me because I completely forgot to do that. So let me just, I'm gonna try and get that pulled up here. Say hello, say hello. Let me know that you're here, making sure you guys can hear me okay. I know it is, what is it, 10 a.m. Central on a Sunday morning. I've got my coffee. I hope you guys have your coffee or breakfast or whatever you're doing. Let me just see. I'm not seeing any comments, so say hello. It is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all the dads, stepdads, foster dads, granddads, father-like figures out there in the world. It's a special day. So I know a lot of people are probably doing breakfast this morning and things like that, so I'm sure you guys will catch the replay if you are busy this morning. But say hello. As I mentioned, we are going to do gallery wall project number 4. If you've not been following along with me, Iron Orchid Design Sisters created this gallery wall project, and you can see all the pieces here. This is actually a gallery wall that's created from one sheet of 4x8 sheet of plywood. And Shabby Daddy and I numbered these, cut them all out, all of the pieces and parts, so that I can demo each and every one of them live with you guys so that you can follow along, and hopefully it'll inspire you to do one or some or all of the projects that I'm going to be showing you. So this one today that we're going to be doing is called Blossoms because it is featuring the Birds, Branches, and Blossoms decor stamp. So if you've not seen this stamp, it's absolutely beautiful. One of the things that I love about Iron Orchid Design products is they all look like the stamps all look like hand painted. You could see an example here on the back side of this particular stamp done on a piece of furniture. And that is what really sets their product apart, I believe, is the attention to detail and that kind of thing. So we're going to be featuring Birds, Branches, and Blossoms. We're also going to be using a bit of the Kindest Regards decor stamp and a piece of just a tiny hint of Prim Trim decor transfer. So those are the main 3 IOD products that are going to make up this particular art piece, okay? So let me just get you guys flipped down and make sure that I can try and get as much of the board in as possible, which is hard because it is 23.5 inches long. And if you're not familiar with how Facebook works and social media works, they typically like you to do your lives with your camera up and down instead of horizontal. So it's oftentimes difficult to get your complete project in when you're doing something that's longer. So I'm gonna turn this way to help accommodate with that a little bit. And the very first thing that we're going to do, I have actually taken and I've watched the Iron Orchid Design Sisters demo of this, and I have created an instructional sheet listing out step by step. So I am going to be following along with that and passing that information on to you guys. So where I'm at thus far, because I did do some upfront prep work so that the video wouldn't be too long. Good morning, Roxanne. Good morning, Lupita. Just so the video wouldn't be too long, I've gone ahead and I've actually marked out 3 of my 4 edges here, marking in with my square edge I have marked in from the outer edge of the board to a 1/2 inch, and I've made marks all around, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a faux frame, and so you need to mark in a 1/2 inch from the outer edge. So I'm just going to finish this final side here while you guys are watching. So again, the straight edge is great because again, it keeps your lines straight while you're doing the markings, and I'm just going to go right along the edge here so that I have some marks of where I'm going to be placing my painter's tape, which we will be using to create our full frame on our piece of artwork. So for those of you that are new to my page or new to watching me do this, whoops, that one's a little bit high, watching me do the gallery wall, as I mentioned at the start of the video, there are approximately 22 pieces that I will be doing on lives utilizing Iron Orchid design products, and I carry them on my website at theweatheredshed.com in case you want to purchase anything that you see me demoing and try and create something on your own. That is the purpose. It's to inspire you. So, all right, so I have my marks, again, a 1/2 inch in from the outer edge of the board. Hey, Susan. Hey, Lisa. Hello. Thanks for joining, guys. And what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to take my painter's tape. This is a 2-inch wide painter's tape, approximately. So a little under 2 inches. And I'm going to follow those marks that I have on my board. And I'm going to use those to lay out the tape to the inside of those marks that I place at the 1/2 inch. Okay, so that's to help you keep your lines straight. All right, and you want to run the tape all the way to the edging of your board, and I'll show you why in a little bit here. Okay, so you're going to do the same all the way around. All the way around that edge. Like that. So how's everybody doing today? Any big plans on the docket for today? It's very gray and gloomy here. We are this afternoon going to be meeting up with my son and his girlfriend and my granddaughter to walk through the zoo. So I'm hoping that the rain will move out. I don't even care that it's cooler, because you know how that is. Typically you're going through the zoo and you're sweating your butt off, right? And that's never any fun. So I kind of welcome the cooler weather. But we just don't want any rain. So we're hoping the rain clears out for this afternoon. All right. So there you have it. So there are my taped edges. And now what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna take and first of all, I wanna make sure it's all pressed down really well. And then I'm going to take my straight edge and I'm going to line it up on the corner here where I have my tape crossing over and meeting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my straight edge. So what we're creating, guys, is we're going to be creating a basically a mitered corner with the tape. Okay? So you lay your straight edge out on that corner there, like so. And just hold it real firm and take your X-Acto knife or your razor knife and just press into that tape and cut those corner edges off. And you can use that, your straight edge, to help pull the tape up against it. I had a little piece there. And do the same on the other edge. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. All right, just like that. So you get a nice clean edge. I have a little piece here I need to nip off. It's being stubborn. There we go. All right, and you're gonna do that all the way around your board, because again, we're creating a mitered corner with the tape, all right? And that's how you do it. So you just, again, line up your straight edge, like so. Hold it down firmly. Take your razor knife, cut through your tape. And again, pull up towards the straight edge, and then you're gonna get those nice clean corners like that. Okay? Pretty simple, right guys? Oh, Lupita, prayers to you and your family. I hope your daughter is going to be well soon, my dear. Sorry to hear that. Let's see here. All right. Well, I am way off on that one. There we go. Is that better? Okay. All right. Put those little chunks aside, and our final corner here. So you guys get the gist of what I'm doing here, huh? Isn't that cool? So again, just creating a really nice, clean, straight edge for your framework of your design element that you're going to be making. Okay. Like that. Oops. And even if you cut into the wood a little bit, you're really not going to notice it because we're going to be painting this outer edge. So, not a big deal. And I missed a little bit again right here. Try and pick that up with the edge of my knife. There we go. All right. Okay, so there we have that. So that's all ready to go. Hey, Sheila. Good morning, Kelly. Susan, you were sick yesterday. Ugh, sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're feeling better today. All right, so now I'm just taking a charcoal colored paint. I'm using American Paint Company. This is a color called Lincoln's Hat that I've had lying around for some time. And of course, when you open all these jars that have been laying around a while, they always have little crusties that fly out, right? All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna paint my outer edge in this charcoal color. Okay, all the way around my tape there. All right. And again, this is gonna create our framework. I probably should have went around and made sure I had these edges down really good. But the thing is, even if you had a little bit of bleed, obviously it's paint, guys, so you can go back and you can touch it up afterwards. All is not lost if there is any bleed underneath the tape. I've had pretty good luck with this this particular brand of tape. What is this? This is the Scotch Blue Original. So it works pretty good. Works pretty darn good. Now the board, I didn't tell you, but in the beginning, obviously I said I did some prep work. So the prep work that I did on this one is very similar to the gallery wall project number 3 that I just did last Sunday. All I did is I painted the surface, sanded the edges and then of the plywood so there wasn't any splinters, and then painted the board in a creamy white, because you want that base color to come through, not that ugly plywood color when you sand your edges, which we will be doing at the end. So I went ahead and pre-painted the board in a, like I said, just a creamy white chalk style paint. And you want to always make sure that you get your outer edges too, because this is a 1/2 inch sanded plywood. And on your gallery wall, you will see the sides, right? So you want to make sure that you always get the sides. And you can leave them shabbily painted if you want. You don't have to do full coverage. It's really up to you and the look that you're desiring. So freedom of creativity, really. However you guys want to do your board. There's no right or wrong. So thanks for tuning in, guys. So Roxanne says she's having a cookout. I hope that the weather clears up for you too, Roxanne, and anyone else that has outdoor plans today. And again, we don't care if we have to put a jacket on, right? Those of us here in Wisconsin, we're like chameleons. We can adjust because our weather changes so drastically. It literally has been getting down still in the 40s at night. It's insane. Yesterday we had a 20-degree drop in the afternoon. It got downright chilly. I had a t-shirt on and I'm like, oh boy, I am going to put a flannel shirt. Oh my gosh, crazy guys, crazy. I'm just leaning over and getting my edge up here in the front by you guys. So yeah, it's been a crazy spring, and it's hard to believe that next week is officially summer, because it sure as heck doesn't feel like it. And I know there's other parts of the country that are watching and they're going, okay, it's been 100 here. It's been 100 and humid, right? Oh, goodness. All right, so there we go. I have my outer edge painted. So while that's drying, which that is the other reason that I like using the chalk style paint, is it dries very quickly. And there we go with those chunks again. I gotta stop closing and opening my jars over my project. All right, so I am going to set this aside, and I am going to take a blue shop towel. If you don't have these lying around, grab yourself some, because they're awesome to have around the workshop. They're very fabric-like, unlike like your regular paper towels. I love the blue shop towels, and they're great for this project. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to wet one of these towels. I've just got a spray bottle that I'm using here. I want to wet it pretty darn good and have it handy for my next step. You don't want it dripping, but you want it good and damp, okay? All right. And then I am going to take some gray paint, and this is the same color that I'm actually going to be using to do my stamping on the inside of the taped edges. I'm just using some, again, chalk minerals kind of paint. It's called Dixie Belle. It's Hurricane Gray. And I am going to make up a wash, you guys. So a wash is about maybe 2-to-1 paint to water. So I'm just going to put some in this cup like so. And I'm going to add a little bit of water. And I realized I need a chippy brush. So let me grab one of those. Grab a chippy brush real quick. You guys know what a chippy brush is? Just those cruddy old brushes. Really inexpensive. As a matter of fact, look at this one. This one has been really loved. Oh, so this is a chippy brush. You can get these for like, 70 cents or something like that, 69 cents. Good morning, Mari. Shabby Daddy's in the house. Okay, one tip for you when you're painting, when you're doing a wash over a painted surface, what you can do is wet that paint. Okay, so I'm taking my wet shop towel, I'm wiping over it, because what that does is it alleviates the paint grabbing too heavily when you're doing your wash, because you want to be able to, we're going to be wiping off the majority of this. Okay, so I am just going to slap some on here. Okay, like this. Try not to get too much of the wash really close to the edge of your tape, because again, this is pretty watery and it might leak underneath. So you just want to get a good amount on your board, and then we're going to take our wet shop towel, our damp shop towel, excuse me. I can't talk yet this morning. We're just going to kind of wad it up, and we're going to start going like this all over the board. Okay, bringing that color out to the edge. And we're going for, we don't want any like harsh lines. What we're trying to do is we're trying to create like a parchment look to the background here. This is going to be the background of your design. So we're just creating like a parchment paper almost, okay? So we want to wipe off the majority of this wash. We're kind of just getting a real light. And the other tip that I have for you is when you're painting your board with the creamy white color initially, you always want to paint in like a crosshatch type motion. Because you're using a chalk style paint, it will create a lot of texture. And that texture makes a big difference when you're doing things like this. When you're doing the wash or creating any type of a, like a faux look in the background. You love that yummy texture showing through. It really makes a huge difference. You might be able to even see a little bit of it on the camera right here, but see how that looks like. You could see the texture when you do that gray wash. It really helps the texture pop out, I guess is what I'm trying to say, if that makes any sense. So again, making sure you get that color all the way out to the edge, because again, when we rip this tape off, we're going to create basically like a framework around your creation, okay? So now I'm going to hit this with a blow dryer real quick. My paint's covered up. Yes, Lupita, you can see it. I know it's hard on the camera, but it's got some yummy texture, which is what you want. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to my page here. It won't take real long for this to dry, guys, because again, it's a chalk style paint. So I'm rubbing my hand over it and it already feels pretty darn good to me. So should be about ready to go. All right, there we go. Okay, so my next step is going to be placing my components of the birds, branches, and blossoms stamp. And again, for those of you that joined late, this is what the entire stamp looks like. And you have all these blossoms, various leaves, 2 different bird elements here. One's flying and one is perched. And it's just a gorgeous hand-painted look when you use these stamps. One of the things I recommend is you just cut the pieces apart, leaving it on its backer sheet, because you will use the backer sheet to place your stamp down on your image, so you don't have to remove them. And here's an example of what I'm talking about. So see how I have this bird cut out and I've just left him on the backer sheet, because then when I put paint on him to stamp, I can just use that to lay it down, if that makes sense. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Awesome. So I have already pre-cut out I already have all my pieces cut out that I'm going to use. And it's basically just, for this design, we're just going to use a few of the branches and the leaves and the bird that's perching. So that is what I have available here to me to access. So we're going to start with one of the longer branches. Let's see, is this the one that I want to use? Let me double check. Yeah. So all you do is you just kind of start laying it out, just trying to figure out, how you want it to look. I want to make sure that you guys can see. I might have to move this over a little bit, that you guys can see what I'm doing. It's going to be upside down to you for right now, but I will flip it around when I'm done, but you guys can get the idea, right? So I'm just going to kind of have this coming up into the page like that. And take another branch. Let's see. Where is oh, there it is. And again, just play around with it and get the look that you want. It doesn't have to be, and I kind of like them running off the page too a bit. Let's see here. If we do that, let's see here. I'm concentrating. Can you tell? I'm not talking because I'm concentrating. And then I'll put him out here maybe. Okay, I think, yeah, we'll just kind of wing it as I go along here. Sound good? All right, there. Okay, so I'm going to take I'm just taking a paper plate today because I ran out of my lovely press and seal that I usually like to use. So I'm just going to take my paper plate and I'm going to take out some of that. Again, I'm using my Hurricane Gray. I'm going to take some of that out of my jar here and put it on my plate so that I can load up my brayer. Okay. This brayer is an IOD brayer. It's hard rubber. I love these. They're available on my website too at theweatheredshed.com. And you want to get just a nice even coat on your brayer. Okay. Nice even coat. And then I'm just going to put this board down here as a protector while I'm rolling on to my stamp piece. So just take and load up the stamp that you're using. Now, one of the things, if you're using, paint for stamping, especially the chalk style, they do tend to dry fairly quickly. So you do have to move along. So let me get that out of the way. All right, so I'm going to put this, I think I'm going to put this first one. Let's see. I'm going to tilt this first one. I don't know. I'm like debating. Come on, Jerry, make up your mind. It's always hard. There's no right or wrong answer. So it's just all in what you choose to do. And you can put blossoms on this one if you want, or you can just do the branches and the leaves. You know, whatever trips your trigger. Again, no right or wrong answer. Let's see. So I have that element. I'm looking for. I seem to be missing another branch that I have. Oh, I see. It's right here. This one. I wanted to use this one here. Okay. So you're just building your branch up however you see fit. And it's nice when you have, we actually carry what we call thin mounts, and they're just plastic sheets that you can buy to use for mounting your pieces to, if you do end up removing them from the original. So I have one of those here, so I'm going to use that for this next one. And again, just loading up my brayer and getting that paint on that piece. Now, one tip for you, when your stamps are new, you do want to condition them. And conditioning is nothing more than taking some fine sandpaper, pull the bottom sheet off of your stamps, and then just condition the stamps by lightly sanding the design side of them, the side that you're going to be using to stamp, because that will help your medium and bring out the details of the stamp by doing that, conditioning it first. I can't seem to get a little piece onto there. All right, that looks good enough for me. All right, so I think I'm gonna bring this one out this way, like that. And just once you commit, just don't shift and just press down like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna do another one here with this little guy. So you're just building your branch, building up your branch. All right. Now I have to think about where I'm going to be perching my dude. And make sure that I accommodate him. I love this branch. This branch reminds me of, these branches remind me of like an old tree that's been around a long time. All right, and then I'm gonna do one more with the long one again, coming down and kind of swooping off my page there. So let me get that loaded up here like that. All right, like this. Ah, careful, Jerry. Careful. So I think for this one, I'm going to kind of meld it into that top one there with this one elbow. Like that. Just like that. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Cool, cool. And you can just take like a baby wipe or a disinfectant wipe and, you know, while you're working, and just wipe off these stamp pieces until you can get them in, you know, the house, and then you can just wash them with warm soap and water. I'm just going to quickly wipe them off here so that they don't get too dry down in there. You want to take care of them so that you always get good impressions in the future. If you let the paint build up inside of there, you won't get those good details like you want. So that is key. And you can use like a little toothbrush to get down in the cracks and crevices too. So let me just hit this with a blow dryer again. And get this dry, and then we're going to add some of our leaves on here and our birdie. All right, so let's do some leaves. Let's see here. This one is good. Might need a little more paint on my plate here. All right. Okay. And then I'm just going to take this little leaf here. We're going to repeat him a couple times. And then we'll use a little bigger one as well. So let's see, where am I going to put Mr. Birdie? I think Mr. Birdie might sit up there. All right, so I'm going to take and do a leaf down here like this. And then we're going to repeat it again. Whoops, oops, 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 oops. Hang on to that leaf. You don't want to like, you don't want it to slip and fall onto your beautiful artwork. Although you could just paint over it, right guys? You can always fix things that are painted. Not a problem. All right, and then I have a couple of, oh, I see. I'm gonna do a couple of single leaves. So this one has 3, but I'm just gonna try to just take a piece of my painter's tape here, and I'm just going to do this one leaf here in a couple spots. All right, so like out here. Like that. And I just repeated him again right there. Okay, and then I'm going to take my one more of this one. The little 3 leaves. You guys can see how it's coming to life, right? It's coming to life. With the leaves on there, really makes a huge difference. Okay, let's see. I think I'll do... Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it for right now. I'm thinking that's enough for right now. And then let's get our birdie onto a piece of mounting sheet. So I can get him brayered up here. Some paint on him. All right. Okay, so where do we want to put him? I think he needs to be up on here because I want him to kind of be front and center of my art piece. So I'm going to put him right here. Again, put it down, don't shift. Slightly press over like that. Oh, he's so cute. All right, let me wipe him off. Okay, so there you have it. Let me hit this with a blow dryer. Okay guys, so this is where we're at thus far. Let me flip this around so you guys can see. So that is our main focal point, and now we're going to embellish upon the design, okay? And we're going to do that by adding some Kindest Regards stamp down in the corner and a piece of the Prim and Trim decor transfer. So it's really going to start to come to life now. All right, so that's where we're at this point. So let me just make sure that you guys, I know there's a huge delay, which I hate, but I'm going to move this over so you guys can see it, hopefully. Oh, cool. Yeah, you can. So in this bottom right corner, I am going to be taking my Kindest Regard stamp. Let me dig it out of my pile here. And the Kindest Regard is an actual scripted letter, okay? And you want some negative space in here because that's kind of where you're going to be placing your piece of Prim and Trim. It's going to overlap a little bit, but you want to, the whole idea is you want a piece of that, you know, showing in the writing there. So you just kind of got to play around because you can see through the stamp. That's what's great. You can play around with kind of where you want to lay it out, and then just work on putting your paint, brayering your paint onto that section. Okay, so this is kind of about where I want it, is right there. So I'm actually going to take and I'm going to put a little piece of painter's tape just to kind of mark the bottom where it's going to actually hit the tape on my framework so that I kind of know where to keep the paint when I'm brayering it on, okay? Does that make sense? All right, so let me take my brayer here. Hopefully I have enough paint here. I think I do to do that section. All right, and then again, I'm just gonna concentrate putting my paint just on those letters. And if you don't fully cover, it's okay, because again, you want a kind of it's a handcrafted piece, guys. It's not going to be, doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so I want it to be about here, like that. And I'm gonna lay it down and just lightly press. And any area, like I actually got sloppy and did roll off of the design onto my backer sheet. You just gotta be careful not to press in those areas, that's all. Okay, just like that. So you're just adding some of that yummy, look at that yummy text to the bottom of your design. That is so stinking cool. Let me show you guys what a cool design element that is, right? Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that cool, you guys? It really makes a huge difference. I love the Kindest Regards stamp because I add it to a lot of my pieces when I'm designing and creating. It's another layer of texture and interest to your piece, which is what you want. So let me just dry that. Isn't it neat, you guys? What do you think so far? Are you loving it? I can't wait for the big reveal when I pull the tape off, because that's always the fun part. All right, so you're gonna wanna take, now we're gonna add, again, just some visual interest to the edging of your piece. We're not gonna do like full coverage or anything like that, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and I'm gonna dip into my Lincoln's hat, which was the dark charcoal that I put on the outside. Actually, I take that back. I'm gonna do the same gray color, and I'm gonna add some visual interest just around the edging here of the tape. Not creating, like the last project, if you watch project 3, we actually did a very thin line to create almost like a faux matte shadow. This isn't about that. This is more about just textural, just a textural element, if you will. So all I'm going to be doing is just kind of haphazardly wiping along the edge here, okay? It's not about creating a straight line or anything. I'm just going to do a little bit of like that. Just adding some depth and some interest again around the edge. I'm going to kind of get the corners, and you don't have to go all the way around by any means. Again, just whatever trips your trigger, however you want to do it. Okay. Like that. Up here in the corner again. Okay, does that make sense, guys? You're just creating some visual, so it kind of looks like paper, I guess. All right, so there you have it. That's all I'm gonna do with that part. All right, so I'm looking back on my notes. Okay, so the next portion that we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of that Prim and Trim transfer that I was telling you about. This is great as you can cut it apart, and I'll show you guys here in a second what it looks like. This is huge, you guys. So I am using a teeny element of it, and we will actually use more of this in some future gallery wall pieces. But I have seen some designers use this on like bordering the bottom edge of a trunk or a dresser. It's just a great design element to add interest to a piece, a painted piece of furniture as well. But I'll show you what I mean. Look at this. It's so stinking cool. It's got so many different textural elements in it. Look at this. And again, this is huge. This is like 24 by, what is it? 24 by 33. Yeah, 24 by 33. But look at how cool this is. Look at all the interesting things in this. And this is what I'm talking about with Iron Orchid design, you guys. Look at this. Look at the level of detailing in these transfers. Simply amazing. Oh my goodness. I cannot say enough. I am so proud of being a stockist because they just have so many cool things. So like I said earlier, we are just going to take a teeny weeny bit of this. I'm going to cut away a corner of this, a little corner piece, and we're going to add that into our design here. So let's see, which one do I want to use? I think I want to use, now these have a couple things I want to tell you about this if you haven't used it. This is very sticky. So it has this protector sheet behind it. You always want to keep that in place just because you don't want any dust or anything like that hitting your piece. And so I am literally, So there's grid lines here. I'm literally only going to be taking a small chunk here. I think about, yeah, this wide. And use those grid lines to indicate where you're cutting, how far you want to cut. And like I said, I'm going to be using some more of this on some other pieces, so it's not like it's going to go to waste. You don't ever waste any of the IOD transfers. You always keep them, the pieces and parts, hanging around, because you can insert them wherever you want on your project piece. So that is literally as small of a piece as I'm taking to use, okay? I'll roll this up, put it back in the tube, like I said, and we will use it, the rest of it, on another project. So let me roll it up, get it back in my tube here. Each one of the tubes, guys, each one of the transfers comes with a applicator stick. Whoops. Okay, what's inside of here? All right, let's set that aside. It comes with a little plastic applicator stick to help you rub the transfer on, okay? So I am going to place this little cute little decorative piece down here. See where there was this negative space here? I'm kind of like gonna put that inside of there. All right, so that is where it's going to go. So I'm gonna cover up a little bit of the writing, but I'm just incorporating it right into there, like so. I'm gonna lay it down. Like I said, it's sticky. Okay, so you're gonna lay it down, and then you're gonna take your stick and you're just gonna rub over that piece. And you will know once it adheres to your surface, because it will turn kind of a translucent color. And then you know it's removed from the film that it's on. Really, really easy. Look at, oh my goodness. Look at that. Oh, how stinking cool is that? And just rub it down, making sure you get all pressed down. You can use your blue shop towel as well and kind of burnish it into place, like so. Making sure you get all of the edges down really well. Okay, like that. Look at how cool that is, just adding that element in here. And we're actually gonna sand this down a little bit, so I'll show you guys that as well. But isn't that cool? Just that little bit of design element in there. Again, we're creating art. We're creating a gallery wall. Each piece is gonna be unique and different. All right, so Prim Trim is applied. So I'm just looking at my instructions here. So we're going to distress the painted edge of our board now. We're just gonna take a fine grit sandpaper. Where is my little piece of sandpaper? There you are. So this is I just have a 220 grit, and we're just gonna go around the edge of the board. We want to pop some of that white that's underneath. Okay, so make sure you get your corners. We want to pop that creamy white out. Okay, and that's why you want to use a fine grit, because you don't want to go all the way through the surface and get to your wood. You want to just lightly sand so that you can, again, pop that white color through. Just go all the way around. Okay, like so. So you can see on my edge here, guys. See that? That nice creamy white is coming through there on the edge. That's what you want. Okay, see how that pops? Go all the way around your edge. And then you're gonna take and you're actually gonna sand a little bit of this Prim and Trim as well, because you kind of want it to meld into your artwork. Okay, so you're softening the edges of that design. All of the IOD transfers are distressable, you guys. It's stinking amazing. There's a lot of distressing built into them, but you can distress them even further with sandpaper. So look at that now. Look at how that looks now that I just lightly went over it with sandpaper. See how it just melds right into your creation? It's so cool. See that? It's so neat. All right. So I think we are at the pulling paint part. I believe we are. I'm just going to go around. I want to get this a little bit more distressed in here. All right. And you can take your blue shop towel again, guys, and kind of wipe off some of that. Look at that. Some of that sanding dust off of your piece as well before you pull the tape. Okay. I love this part. This is like my favorite part, pulling the tape. So you just want to take your straight edge and kind of, pick at a corner because you want to just lift up the tape on a corner, trying not to gouge into your surface. And once you get a corner of it started, then you just start lifting. And again, if there's a little bit of bleed, you can touch it up with a tiny little paintbrush. OMG, you guys. Look at this. See, I had a little bleed right there. Oh my gosh. But even that, I probably can wipe off with a piece of wet paper towel, I'm guessing. We'll see. Like I said, if not, I can always just go back and touch it up. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's so cool. So stinking cool. Look at that. Ah! Oh, these are so fun, you guys. You have got to try this. It's so therapeutic. So stinking therapeutic. Okay, check this out. I'm hoping you guys can see. Let me flip the camera up here towards me. I'm hoping I can show you guys a little bit better. Look at this. Look at how awesome this turned out. Isn't that cool? Look at how cool. Isn't that neat, you guys? My gosh. I gotta get it hung. I gotta put a hanger on the back, get it hung up on my wall, and then show you guys what it looks like with all the other 3 pieces that I did. Isn't it neat? It's such a cool piece. I just absolutely love it. Thank you for the hearts, guys. But you too can do this, guys. This is so easy. And again, I have the instructions typed out. So if you do decide you want to create the blossoms, if you purchase the products on my shop site, I will be glad to include the handwritten or typed out instruction sheet for you as well. And then you can use the video too for step by step and go back and watch the replay. Okay, so I have created, one of the things I wanted to tell you guys is out in my videos, if you look at videos on my page, you will see that I have created a new playlist called IOD Gallery Wall so that you can see each one of the pieces. You can go back and watch them on the playlist, okay? And it will only be the gallery wall demos in that playlist. So it's really easy for you to find if you want to go back and watch them. That is where you will find them, is in that playlist, okay? So thanks a lot, guys, for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Have a great day.